Shalom. Call Halayim La Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, to the Akim doing the work in truth and sincerity, as well as the few Akwat that listen and learn. This is Brother Shawar with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And I just want to get into, because pretty much there's been more false doctrine, from particular bug outs, from Israelites going off trying to add to the scriptures, take away from the scriptures, saying a bunch of different things, but in particular I want to deal with this new covenant talk Jake talking about. We're in the second covenant, and we'll get the scripture in the book of Hebrews, but the second covenant is post the American captivity. It's after Babylon the Great is destroyed, after the Lord gives his hopeful elect immortality, and beams them up in those chariots to be delivered from the destruction coming by way of nuclear missiles, nuclear fire via World War III to Babylon the Great, which is America, right? So the second covenant lets us know that we would pretty much be made perfect. We wouldn't have to teach one another, and that's when there's going to be no more sin amongst the nation of Israel. So it's simply impossible for us to be under the second covenant. And the reason I'm bringing this up, because I kind of wanted to connect it to just thoughts and something I was watching, dealing with it's pretty much dealing with the gang violence in Chicago, man, and certain the gang wars, and I'm not gonna get detail and stuff, but I was just watching it because it's really spiritual. Everything is spiritual, man. It's the curses, and you kind of sometimes you want to see where this stuff starts, and Jake takes stuff and run with it, and we know Jake is wicked, of course. And there's judgment coming for all of that, man. But it just also there's another side to it, man. It puts you in the spirit of just understanding that we need salvation. And I'm not gonna try. I'm gonna try and make this quick, but it was really kind of bothering me all day. Because Jake, man, Israel has been we're truly cursed, man. We're truly cursed because as I was watching the video, it's pretty much Jake, these wars and all this back and forth killing stems from really stuff that can be fixed from like a conversation. And then we know Esau infiltrates the gangs and the communities with the guns and the drugs. And, he propels it, of course, because this is what he wants. And, due to all the rest of the curses, man, our parents, man, are usually out of order. Our surroundings are all messed up, and we're still traumatized and dealing with the repercussions of, of slavery, of hardcore slavery. We're still in slavery, but the hardcore version of it, and we're in poverty. This goes for this both southern and the northern kingdom, right? And I just Jake is going through it, man. So how is it we're under the second covenant and Jake is still to this day going through it? Jake is still killing each other in the streets, babies still getting killed. Jake is still getting locked up. It's all kind of wickedness and death and corruption amongst our people and in the world for that matter. So how is that? It doesn't even make sense, right? And I just I want to get into these curses. Really, that's the point of this video, to shine the light that, of course, we're not under the second covenant because we're still under these curses, evidently. Going back to Deuteronomy 28, right? So let's go to there. Salakia for the Ramban. I just wanted to give a, the background of my thought process on, the things that was on my spirit. But this is Deuteronomy 28, and starting at the top, and it reads, "And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I commanded thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth." And this is going back to, the first covenant with going back to Moses and Aaron. The first covenant the Lord gave to the nation of Israel through Moses, Mount Sinai, right? The law, statutes, and commandments. So this is verse 2, and it reads, "And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God." So the Lord, his plan for the nation of Israel, the so-called Negros, Latinos, and Native Americans, was for us to live, in pretty much in rulership above all the nations upon the face of the earth, Deuteronomy 7 and 6, to pretty much rule the earth in paradise and have the fatness of the earth and live in abundance and peace and harmony and, be fruitful and multiply for an eternity. But as we know, the wages of sin is death. So, us being wicked ultimately led us to, led us to death. So let's jump down to the 15th verse, man, because again, there's still curses on Israel, man. Jake is still catching hell, still at the bottom of the barrel for the most part. Still, even Jake that sell out, man, still the curses still show themselves in some way. You saw it with Kanye, Kyrie, and various other celebrities. That's just the most recent examples. But we're still under this, under these curses, and these curses aren't getting removed until Yahushua comes back to pretty much remove them himself and deliver us in those chariots. Lord willing, we'd be a part of that number, right? So this is really it's a very crazy doctrine to say we're under the new covenant. But let's get this let's go to the 15th verse, Deuteronomy 28 and 15. And it reads, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." And this is what happened, man. We didn't take heed. And ever since the Lord has been jacking us up and punishing us, putting us through various captivities under these heathen nations for our disobedience. And this is what Jake doesn't understand. This is the answer to that big question of why we're going through what we're going through. Why did this happen? Why does that happen? Why, this is the answer, is to turn back to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai and to wait for him to come deliver us. And in seeking the Lord, man, everything we need on this side will be fulfilled. We'll be tested. We'll be tried. But ultimately, the Lord he's going to make sure we're okay. That's all that matters, if you're a part of that number. Right? So, and read this chapter, read. I don't want to, it's obviously a very long chapter, but you read it and you read the curses, man. And it's so evident. The curses stick to us like glue. This is another thing that proves, who the real Israelites are today. It's one of the biggest things is the curses. The small hats are not under these curses. They do certain things to try and fit the curses, but you can see right through that. These curses are upon our people, man. These things happened and they're still happening, and going back to that video I was watching, the one that stuck out was, thy eye shall be evil towards thy brother. There's just all these things these curses that, man, we still live to this day. And if you can't see it, you're either the Lord has completely blinded you, or you're just being an idiot and you're denying it, or you sold out or whatever. because it's extremely obvious, man. The strife between our nation, you know, us going to our enemy for the want of all things, our food being defiled, our women being ravished and in front of us and used up, and harlots in the street, and, you know, the yoke of iron being put upon our necks. You know, pretty much everything we do, you know, just won't be successful, won't prosper for the most part. You know, these are the curses that I put on the Israelites, right? No matter where they are. So let's get this in Jeremiah. We'll get Jeremiah 31 before I get Hebrews. We'll get both of them, dealing with the new covenant, and then we'll see where the Spirit takes it. So this is Jeremiah 31 and 31, and it reads, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah," so the northern and southern kingdom, the whole nation, "not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, saith the Lord," going back to the time of Moses. "But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people." So look around at your everyday Israelite. Do they have the law, statutes, and commandments of the Heavenly Father written in them? Are they, is their mind operated based off the law, statutes, and commandments of the scriptures? No, man. Jake is not in that mindset at all. Jake is, constantly, worried about folly and wickedness and things, the curses, So no, this hasn't happened yet, man. The Lord hasn't done this to the nation of Israel. And this is synonymous with us getting those new bodies. Talked about in 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, where, the mortal will have to put on immortality and be changed in the twinkling of an eye. The Lord is going to change the elect's bodies to be immortal, to be perfect, so that this covenant fits. That this thing, it can't work in this flesh. See, but Jake is pushing that spirit that pretty much we're good here, man. That's why they duck prophecy. That's why they duck the MOTB, and certain things that in Jacob's trouble, certain things that they don't want to scare the people, because they don't truly believe, man, and they're not really the men of the Lord. A lot of these Israelites, the men of the Lord, are going to be warning the sheep, warning the nation of Israel, prophesying in the highways and hedges, in season, out of season, to the hopeful elect, not adding or taking away from the scriptures, prophesying against the kingdom that they're in, and prophesying the second coming of our big brother Yahushua, right? And then the set perils to come, and to repent. So there's a lot of things, man, that if you don't have, so you got to pray to the Lord for spiritual discernment, man, the right spirit and the right direction that to go in, so that you serve, or not serve, that you can follow the right men, which we believe starts with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Matter of fact, it is, that's just what it is. It's not even, I can confidently say that. It's not even what we think, it's just what it is. That's who the Lord is dealing with. All right, so this is verse 34, and it reads, "And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord." So there won't be prophets, man. These same Israelites that are saying that we're in the second covenant, you wouldn't even be teaching things out of the scriptures. You wouldn't have to be telling Israel that, we're under the second covenant. It would just be, life. Not to mention, like I said, the curses and the wickedness going on in the world, you know, you working check to check, you paying for water, paying for food. You know, people don't even realize that, you know, that this we've become so accustomed to captivity that, you know, Jake has made peace with it. They've made, you know, they love it here, man. But the Lord has, you know, much greater things for us. And this place got to go down first, man. But see, Jake don't really believe. They don't really have faith. That faith is really was the separator. They don't really believe in the words written, man. They don't believe in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So reading on, it says, "For they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest," from like the regular Israelites to Yahushai and the 144,000 under him. Saith the Lord, "For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more." So this is in the kingdom, man. This is when the Lord delivers the elect, destroys Babylon the Great, and starts that 1,000-year period of these heathen in captivity under the Israelites, you know, to build up the kingdom of heaven for an eternity. You know, this is when that is going to happen. You know, so, I mean, I could close it out. We don't even got to get the Hebrews, the one in Hebrews. It's essentially the same thing, but yeah, something that was just on my spirit, man. You know, Jake, you know, we're still going through it, man. Jake is still killing each other in the street, still getting killed by police, still, you know, living check to check. We're still struggling as a people, man. We go through all kind of stuff, man. And the only way to be healed and to get out of it is to turn back to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Because the Lord is going to come and change everything. It's not just, yeah, Jake is going through it. Of course, you know, we're at the bottom of the barrel. We've been the most oppressed as a nation as a whole. But the whole world is mourning, man. The earth itself, even these other nations, you know, everything, man. The trees, the air, the animals. Because of this devil's rulership. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear the rule, the people mourn. Roughly paraphrasing. I think I mixed up a few words, but it's the same thing. You know, and the wicked is ruling, man. And the Lord has to come and change that. And he will. Very soon, man. Yahweh Ratazah, this is the year, you know, that all prophecies come to pass, as Apostle Tahar coined this year. Right? So, yeah, man, I'll leave it at that. Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect, and they did what it was supposed to do. I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, Shalom, Kwam Yasharala, and Abababo.